Ken, I met you like what 6 weeks ago in Las
Yep.
Vegas. Yeah, at a marketing conference. You
Yeah, it
sat
wasn't at the
behind me. It
craps table. It was at a conference.
was not at. Yeah, we weren't like when we go to Vegas. We don't even go to the Strip. Like it's way off
Yeah.
in some guy's house in the middle of nowhere. Nice house. But you're kind enough to jump in here, and I got to know you a little bit, and I think you're a pretty special guy, and I think that your system's pretty. I wouldn't call it unique, but it's like simplified. I think is a good answer for it. And obviously it's very effective. So why don't you run with it? Tell us who you are
Yeah.
and what you,
Yeah, sure. So I'm Ken. Thanks for everybody for hopping on today. There's a few people here from my neck of the woods. I'm in Calgary, Alberta, Canada, where we got a foot of snow yesterday. So we had no snow 48 hours ago. Now we have a foot of snow on the ground. That's kind of where we live. And it's cold. Celsius, it's minus 22 degrees right now. So just so you all know. I've been in real estate for 18 years now, and had a background in radio and television prior to real estate. Used to host radio shows and was a program director of radio stations across Canada, and came back to Calgary in 2005 when we started having kids, and that's where I'm from. So we started raising our kids here, and I now have an 18-year-old and a 21-year-old. So that's a little bit about me. And then we're in a market of about 1.7 million people. I've been top 1% in that market for the past 15, 16 years. So we do decent business. I run a very small team. We've got a team of 4 realtors and 2 admins. That's our entire setup. But again, we're a pretty lean machine, and our entire business is basically run on referral, repeat, and people that we already know. So that's the lowdown on who we are.
awesome. You want to dive in?
You betcha.
But yeah. So, I don't know if you all heard that or if you said it, but like 90% referral business, very high volume, very high touch, 90% referral. I mean, it's more than impressive, right? That's an outlier.
Yeah.
So thanks for sharing this.
Yeah, for sure. And we, this all evolved in the very beginning. And this is this whole plan evolved from a couple of places. So coming from radio and television, when you're on the radio every day, you're talking one to many. So it's you and a microphone in a room by yourself, and you're playing music and talking and all that kind of stuff. But you've got, 100,000 people listening at one time. It's one to many, but you've got to make everybody feel like you're talking directly to them. And also, too, I was in radio at a time where we were really building listener clubs and database marketing. And it was about how do we get those people that are on the radio into databases so we can now reach them through things like email and stuff like that. So we were really experimenting with that. I mean, it was a long time ago in radio, when radio was still, I guess I would call what I would call a viable media option for people to receive their music and things like that. So we were really trying to capture that database marketing. So as I was leaving radio, I was like, how do I take the skills that I've got? Because as a radio announcer, to be honest, you don't have a lot of skills. You just know how to talk. How do I take those marketing skills and those radio skills and plug it into my real estate business? Because it's really all I know how to do. I know how to build a radio station. I know how to run a radio station. I didn't know anything about real estate, but I did know how to build a database. And so I was taking those things and trying to plug them into real estate. And then I stumbled across, because of the brokerage I was with at the time, they were offering the Brian Buffini 100 Days to Greatness program. And so I actually took that, and it really resonated with me because it's very much the same system. It's just a little salesy and real estate-y for me. So I took fundamentals from that, took fundamentals from my radio business, and plugged them together and started building out this plan, which has evolved over the last 18 years. But this is something we've been doing basically for 18 years, the basis of this plan to get us to where we are and to maintain our market share. So without further ado, this is the 49 plus touchpoint plan to supercharge your referral game. And I'm going to let you in on a little secret. There's way more than 49 touches, but you're not going to do this perfectly because it's a lot. And people are going to opt out of certain things in your database marketing. They'll opt out of emails, or maybe they'll ask you not to mail them anymore. So the goal here is to hit everybody for roughly 49 times a year. And I'm going to talk a little bit about that as we go through as to why we want to do that.
Awesome.
All right. So there we go. Okay. Hang on one sec. Something screwed up with my mouse. Let's go back to the top. All right. So let's talk about why 49 touches. So our whole goal is to always connect with our database, take care of our database, and build a community. So we're trying to build a community of people that you connect with on a consistent basis and take great care of, but not only in real estate, in their personal lives as well. You have to constantly be adding value to people's lives as they stay connected with you throughout the years. And so this part that we're going to go through today, this is the connect part. It's the 49 touches. This is the connect part of our connect, care, and community program. So the goal is to always be unforgettable. And to be unforgettable in real estate, you need to create number one mind share. And what I mean by number one mind share, that is, if anybody says the words real estate, your face should pop to the front of their brain first. Because everybody has room in their brain for only two of anything. It can be two doctors, it can be two dentists, it can be two plumbers, electricians, whatever it might be. So they've only really got room in their brain for two realtors' names as well. And if you want to be the one that they call and the one that they refer all the time, you have to be absolutely unforgettable and hold number one mind share. So coming from radio, this is the radio experience here. Back in the day, people didn't wear these little monitors around their neck and walk around and pick up radio signals that they rated radio stations on and could tell what people were listening to get ratings. What they did is they mailed out ballots to people's homes. And so typically it would be the mom in the house would fill it all out and, talk about how many people lived in the house and the kids and what the kids listened to and all that stuff. But it really wasn't the kids. She didn't know what kids were listening to. She just wrote down what she was listening to. So the goal for every radio station was to pound the call letters into your head every single time the record stopped. You would hear the call letters, so that you created number one mind share, so that when recall happened, when they heard radio, your radio station's call letters would pop up in their brain. So I wanted to take that same mentality and plug it into real estate. So the goal here is to always be unforgettable, and it's about recall. And we accomplish that with an omnipresent, consistent strategy. And by the way, I'm going to power through this, and then any questions you guys have about any of this stuff or samples or any of that stuff, I'd be more than happy to share them with you at the end. And we are going to make the slide deck available to everybody that's on the call too at the very end as well. So if you can save your questions and everything until we're done, that would be awesome. We'll get through this here in the next 25, 30 minutes and then open it up for some questions.
Thanks for saying that. I forgot to say that earlier.
Yeah, no problem at all. Okay, so it starts with the cadence and the cadence of email marketing. Email is going to be basically the foundation of what you're doing here. And it's the simplest way to reach out to people. So if you look in the bottom right corner of every one of these slides, it's going to have the number of touches that the strategy on the page actually accomplishes every single year or every single month. So, or every year, sorry about that. So here is what we do as far as an email marketing strategy goes every single year to hit 24 touches through email. So 24 of those 49 plus touches happen through email. So between the 1st of the month and the 5th of the month, I send out a market report. And that's a report that I write. Do I filter it through Gemini and ChatGPT now? Sure, for editing, but typically I write it. And it's got stats in it. It's got the real take on what is happening in the market. It's not just a generic, bias service market report. It's not just a generic copy of the stats for your market. It is a written email with some images in it that gives your take on the market. It allows you to be editorial. It allows you to be very matter of fact. It allows you to have an edge, and it allows you to stand out if you call the market the way you see it. people want to hear your take, especially when you've built out this community of people that know, like, and trust you. They're giving you license to give you their opinion. And just by sending a very generic market report that everybody else is sending, you're missing a massive opportunity if that's what you're doing. It takes about an hour every single month to write a really good market report around the stats. Doesn't take very long. So I do that in between the 1st and the 5th of the month. Then between the 15th and the 20th of the month, we send out high value content. And typically that's just a piece of content that we found has got a lot of clicks on our social media, because we're sending out quite a bit of social stuff on our business page. Topics that we've heard through the month, things we've experienced in the month, or it can just be content that we've come across. We pick a piece of high value content and then we turn it into that email that goes out on the 15th and the 20th. And so the reason that we're doing this is we want a maximum of 2 weeks between mailouts or emails. Okay. We want a maximum of 2 weeks. And that's because if you do nothing else, if you do like absolutely nothing else, this is the bare minimum you do an email strategy, you're going to be able to hit people every 2 weeks. And what research has shown is that if you let more than 2 weeks go by without connecting with somebody that is not in your intimate circle, they start to forget you. And so that 2 week rule is extremely important. Now, we've also messed with this and we've ramped it up to once a week for max impact. What we have found is that when we segment our database out, and I segment my database this way, there's A pluses, which are people that have done multiple transactions with us or have referred us. And then there's A's, and these are people that have done individual transactions or like a buy and sell at the same time. That's an A. B's are our sphere that have not done transactions with us, but we can teach them how. And then C's are cold leads or online leads. That's how we segment our database. People that we don't know, like in that C category, get an email a week from us. So we ramped this up for our A pluses and our A's, but just a few weeks ago, we actually made it a thing for our team, was to go back and go through all your A pluses that had unsubscribed from our email and find out, number one, why, and was it just the email that they didn't want? Or did they still want to be invited to our events and things like that, which we're going to talk about in a little bit. And what we found was with people that we know, once a week was too much. People that we were the closest with in our business, once a week was too much. They found it too much. So we've actually pulled that back to twice a week for the people that are closest to us in that A plus and A segment. But we still ramp this up to once a week for people that we have peripheral relationships with, or that we don't have an intimate relationship with, or have not met face to face. Okay. So you really can ramp this up to once a week for those kinds of people, just to create mind share. So after email, if we're taking an omnipresent strategy, and omnipresence means you've got to hit them from all different angles, because you never know what they've unsubscribed from. You never know what they pay attention to. You never know, if they're going to open the mail, or do they just chuck the mail in the trash? Did they move and you didn't know about it? Did they unsubscribe from your email? How are you going to get in front of them if they've unsubscribed from things, or if they're not getting all of your content? Well, direct mail is a really great way to do that. So it's really, number one, it's tough to unsubscribe from direct mail. So this is for your A plus clients. These are your multiple transaction or your referral based clients. Once a month, we are taking that emailed content that we send out in the middle of the month, and we turn it into a physical mail piece. And it's done on glossy paper. Or we can even run in some stats. The cool thing about doing physical mail is you can switch it up. Like you can put in home valuation coupons in there, or you can put QR codes on whatever you're sending people for your piece of content. You can drop tickets into that mail piece if you're stuffing envelopes yourself for something like movie tickets, or you could, right now, the Calgary Home and Garden Show is coming up. So we're actually giving away tickets to all our A plus clients to that. Things like that you can drop into that envelope. So direct mail is actually really, really good. And to be honest, I actually don't care if they open the envelope. I really don't, because every month they see my logo in the top left corner of that envelope that comes in. And it's not, you don't want to do this as a postcard. You don't want to do this as a flyer that just looks like everything else that they're getting in their mailbox. make sure it's in an envelope. You know, a couple of strategies we've toyed with over the years is changing the color of the envelopes every now and again, just to get better open rates, putting stamps on the outside, or stamping the outside of the envelope. If there's tickets in it, don't toss this out. You've got free tickets inside, things like that. Just get a little bit of a better open rate on mail. But the real key here is, if we're going for recall, all you care about is that they see that logo and it reminds them of who you are, what you do, and that you're here for them. Okay, so every month, I don't care if they go, Regal, toss it in the trash. Regal, toss it in the trash. After enough time, if they're at a party on a Friday night and somebody says, hey, do you know a realtor? Yeah, this Regal guy won't quit mailing me, right? My name's at the front of the list. So even if they're just going to chuck the mail in the garbage, doesn't matter. If it's branded and they know who you are, and you were the one that helped them buy that house, they're going to connect you to it. So mail can be a really, really powerful thing. Lots of people do quarterly mail. I would say that's not nearly enough. I think that if you're going to stay in front of your A+ clients and your A's too, at that point, you need to do mail once a month. You have to have a budget for mail once a month. It's one of the biggest things that you can do to a database of people that know, like, and trust you. Okay. Now, when people are starting out on this, I encourage you not to mail 1,000 people. I encourage you to get it to the Hot 100. And the Hot 100 should be, that's kind of the magic number for a database to really start churning out referrals. You need to have 100 names of people that know, like, and trust you. And the filter for me is, can you pick up the phone and have a personal conversation with them and ask them for a beer or for a coffee? Right? That's who makes it onto your Hot 100 list. And that's who you should be mailing every single month. Now, that list should expand as your budget allows and as your business grows. Okay. But in the beginning, shoot for 100. It's just the Hot 100. And again, the filter in your own mind should be, do I have this person's contact information? Are they close enough to me that I can give them a call and ask them out for a coffee or a beer and it won't be weird? Okay. Again, we're trying to be omnipresent here. This means getting in front of people everywhere. It's naive to think that they saw your content on another platform. Blast them from every angle. That's our goal. So after mail, then we want to celebrate our relationship too. We want to, hit people at those monumental times in the year. So we're fans of personal notes, and just a couple of the things that we do as far as personal notes go. These are the bare minimum in personal notes. We send birthday cards to absolutely everybody. I mean, here we have to get their ID when we buy or sell a home with them. We have to record their ID. I'm not sure if it's like that in every state, but in Canada, we have to do that for the government. So we've already got all their information. We know their birth date, their mailing, all that stuff. So we just put it in our CRM and we send them a birthday card every single year. Okay. We want to celebrate them. We don't necessarily want to celebrate the house. We also send holiday cards. So, depending on who your database is full of and what they celebrate, pick a major season, Thanksgiving, Christmas, Easter. Just wish them the best. It doesn't even really have to be a holiday card itself. Just send them a handwritten note around that time. And people, when they look in their mailbox now and they see a hand-addressed envelope, it shocks them because they're used to seeing just flyers and junk mail and things like that. Having a hand-addressed birthday card or a hand-addressed holiday card, massive impact. Really, really big impact. So I would really encourage people to get in the habit of doing these things. I mean, it's not tough to do holiday cards and birthday cards. If you are actually a disciple of the Brian Buffini program, they want you to write 3 personal notes a day. Honestly, I don't do that. I find that this is enough, is by just sending birthday cards or holiday cards. Okay. Again, be mindful of religious denominations, adjust accordingly. The key is just 2 extra mailed cards per year. Okay, so this is the big one. This is the thing that brings it all together. Events are the glue that bring your community into the same room. And when you get your clients in the same room together and they don't know each other, what is the one common denominator that they talk about? It's you. So what we do is we hold 4 events a year for our clients. And these are just for our best clients. So our A pluses and our A clients get invited to this. And you can have 5 touch points around an event just for one single event. It's 5 touch points to connect with people personally around an event. And so we're going to just break this down for you. So We actually just came out of our beginning of the year event. We hold a night at a comedy club and we invite everybody. We pay for the tickets. We have a mortgage broker that sponsors the drinks and that kind of stuff. And we bring some vendors on board to help us offset costs. But we do a comedy night at the beginning of the year and we try and time it so that it's, in January when everybody is, getting over the Christmas hangover, but they need a little bit of a lift up. We get them into a comedy club and it's a big hit. So we get, anywhere from 100 to 200 people in the comedy club. And it's great. In the springtime, we do movie premieres on a weekend. So we try and do adult things and family focused things and we alternate them. So in the, Toy Story, Toy Story 600 is coming out in June. So we're going to do a special screening and get several movie theaters for that and invite all our clients and they get tickets and popcorn and all that kind of stuff. But the magic behind this is the number of touch points you can have around an invite, because we always want to have a reason to connect with somebody. And if we're trying to connect, say personally or on the phone or through a personal conversation 4 times a year with our A+ clients, and we'd like to be able to do that with our A clients as well, depending on how big our A+ client list is. If you want to reach out to those people personally 4 times a year, having 4 events gives you the opportunity to have something to talk about, right? We never want to just call somebody up and it be that awkward conversation. We want to have something to talk about. We want to be giving them value. We want to be always making deposits to the value bank account before we ever make a withdrawal and ask for a referral. We want to have a lot of deposits in there. And so, and the ratio for us is give 10, ask for 1. That's what we always try and do. But the magic touch points here, the 5 that you can do. So you're going to send out your invite to people, number 1. So that's a touch point. They're going to get an email with an invite. You're going to know if they opened it or if you didn't, if you're checking your open rates on your email. So then you're going to follow up on the invite. Even if they opened it, you're going to follow up on the invite and, hey, did you get the email? Right? And that's a phone call. So there is now your quarterly phone calls built right in. Follow up on the invite with a phone call. Hey, how you doing? Haven't talked to you in a bit. Sent you out an invite to our comedy night last week. Just wanted to make sure you got it. Even if they opened it, that's how you do it. For the unsubscribes, the people that didn't get it, or the people that haven't opened it, it's, hey, we're this is now your opportunity to anybody that's unsubscribed. You're going to give them a call. You're going to invite them, and you're going to send them the email personally for the invite. Then what you're going to do is you're also going to send out emailed reminders. And I would not rely on Eventbrite to do this. I would build this into your CRM. We do use Eventbrite for things like this, or we build our own landing pages, but I would be sending out my own emails. Even if you make it into a smart plan and it's an automated email, just make sure it comes from your CRM and it comes from you and not from Eventbrite or something like that, like a third party. Make sure it comes from your email address. And send your reminders out 1 week out, 3 days before, day before. You'll get a better show up rate if you do this. Okay. Because we usually start promoting our movie, say our movie in June, we're going to start promoting that thing at the end of March. We're going to start talking about it at the end of March and giving people the opportunity to sign up and get tickets, because we want to have the theaters full. And if we've got to order an extra theater, we want to make sure that we've got the time to do that. So, so people that signed up in say March or April may not be remembering it. They may not remember it when it's at the end of June. So make sure that you're sending lots of reminders out. So, that's a few more touches there, but really it's 1. Then you're going to have the opportunity to see them face to face at the event, and you get to have an in-person conversation. And so it's really important when you're holding these events that you have a strategy of making sure people have to come by you and say hi to you before they ever get anything. And it's the same strategy we have with open houses. We don't ever want somebody to come into an open house without having to walk by us. And we also don't want them to ever be able to leave the house without having to walk by us, so that we can get into a conversation with them. Take that same strategy and you plug it into your events. So you don't want to email them the tickets to this. You don't want to give them the passes to the movie in their mail. You want them to have to come to the table where your staff is and your team is. They've got to check in, and you physically get to hand them the tickets, because now you can have a conversation with them. And that's the ultimate goal of every event, is to have face-to-face conversations with your clients you can reach 200 people and have those conversations in a compact amount of time instead of having to go out running door to door, or, you know, having to do Popeyes and things like that,
Yeah.
where it's one-to-one. You can do another one-to-many by holding an event.
What are Ken? What are the other events that you do throughout the year?
Yeah, so we do in Calgary, we have a thing called the Calgary Farmyard in the fall, and this is probably the biggest date. It's the most expensive one that we do too. But what it is it's a small kind of, it's out on a farm. It's a corn maze, an amusement park, petting zoo, that kind of stuff. And it's just one of those things that Calgarians like to do. So we have passes to that. We get, I think this year we had 200 people show up to that event.
Wow.
That's a big one. We'll do impromptu drink nights as well. In the past, we've bought sections at hockey games and had all of our clients come. We get a whole section to a hockey game, and then, you know, we'll do like door prizes and stuff in the intermission. And we've even had some of our clients' kids on the Zamboni in the intermission and those sorts of things. So that's the kind of stuff that we'll do for events. Right now, it's typically a comedy night. Then we do an impromptu drinks night. Then we'll do the movie. We may do something around Stampede, which is our big rodeo and exhibition up here. It's like, it's a big deal. We may do something around that this year. And then again, the farmyard in the fall, right around our Canadian Thanksgiving.
I think your Stampede is similar to the Houston Rodeo, if not bigger.
It very much is. Yeah, it's very similar to the Houston Rodeo Livestock Show for sure. So that's your 4 there. And then you're going to thank people for coming. And this is really effective as a video text. You'll get a lot of responses if you do a video text. And then what you can also do is, for the non-responders, or the people didn't come to the event that you invited, or that, you know, that maybe didn't even respond, just send them a video text saying, hey, sorry we missed you. We had a great time at the Calgary Farmyard. We had about 200 people show up. We would love it if you were able to make it to our next event. So watch for it. It's going to be our comedy night coming up in January. Would you like me to email or text that to you, that invite? And so now you can get into a conversation with people that missed the event. Again, always having a reason to reach out to people. And I've just found that the events are just such magic this way. And it's so awesome to see some of the people that show up again and again and again and again. And it really does reinforce who your core audience is and who you should be talking to. So events are killer. Love them. All right, let's talk social. Social media is a huge part of this as well. Okay, you cannot avoid social media, even when you're doing a referral-based business. Even though we are not generating all of our leads from social media or from paid ads, not through Google pay-per-click or Facebook ads or anything like that, or YouTube ads, we are not doing that. But you have to have social media presence. And social media is also one of those places where you can reach out and have touch points with all of the people that you already know, that know, like, and trust you. But we have to agree that our social media channels are no longer personal. They're business building platforms. And so if you can go into your social media with that mindset that this is a business building platform, this is part of my lead generation, lead nurture strategy, this really, really works. So I ask our team to select 2 primary channels. It doesn't matter what they are. I got a guy on this call. He's a big TikTok guy. I'm not. I'm Facebook and Instagram. Some people are YouTube. Some people are getting a lot of get a lot more action on Instagram. Lots of people like Snapchat too. It doesn't really matter, but pick 2. Okay. I would strategically pick the 2 that most of your audience uses. So it all depends on who your avatar client is and who you're going after. Like if you're going after first-time home buyers in today's market, Facebook may not be the place for you. But pick the 2 primary channels of what your avatar client is using, and that's what you should become really, really good at. So then build out your network. Okay, so friend or follow or like everybody who already knows, likes, and trusts you. So if everybody on this call has been in real estate for any period of time and you've sold some homes, you need to have everybody you've bought and sold a home with on your social media. They should be. You should be following them, and they should be, that have been friend requested, all of those things. And you should make sure that you are looking for them all over social media, even if your algorithm isn't picking them up and putting them in front of you, you've got to go find them. Okay, so friend everybody who knows, likes, and trusts you, everybody on your list, because social media is a database in itself. And the goal is for you to post 3 to 5 times daily. And you want to post entertaining, educational, and inspiring content. And make sure that your content shows you as a human, but also relates to your preferred audience, your avatar client. You don't have to let them behind the entire curtain of your life. Just show yourself as a human. Drop a few things in. Stuff about, if you got kids, drop some things about your kids. If you're a big dog person, just drop a few things about your dog. It doesn't have to be every moment of your life when we're working in a referral-based system. If you're using Instagram, let's say, to generate all of your leads, you pretty much better be living your entire life on Instagram if that's how you're going to do it. But in a referral system like this, you just have to sprinkle in those human things so people realize that that's who you are. Okay. They want to stay connected with you. I'm an old dude. I just had a hip replacement, and I ran into a guy on the street on the weekend who's waiting for a hip replacement. He's like, I've been watching you on social media talk about your hip replacement. Haven't talked to the guy in 2 years. But he sees all that content on social, so he feels connected to me. So anyways, that's how it works in a referral-based system. Okay. You don't have to be living your life on social, but just make sure you're sprinkling yourself in as a human being.
Just a quick question. What age do we need to be worried about hip replacements?
I was a hockey player, so I was young.
Okay.
I've needed a new hip for about 10 years, and I'm 52.
Okay.
So,
Right.
yeah. If you play contact sports,
You look very young.
Probably a lot younger than you would think. And then you've got to engage 15 minutes a day with your social media audience. And that looks like this. You're going to be liking and commenting on their content. I've got an agent on my team that actually doesn't have everybody in his world's contact information except their social media handles. That's how he connects with people. He's younger. His whole audience is on social media. So he's creating his relationships and he's creating his conversations through Messenger. And so that's what you should be doing. 15 minutes a day. It should be liking and commenting on your avatar client's content and the people that you know already. First, it'll get the algorithm working in your favor, and it'll start putting their stuff in front of you a little bit more often. You won't have to go searching for it. But it also puts your name in front of people because everybody wants to see their likes count, and they want to see who's watching their story. Everybody looks at that stuff. And if your name is coming up all the time, it's just another way to leave your brand as an impression on their brain.
Yeah. And that's part of your lead gen time too. I mean, it's 100%.
Yeah, this is very much a part of your lead gen time. Okay. All right. So then, yes, you do have to pick up the calls. Okay. The phone, you got to pick it up. We do quarterly calls to our A+ clients. Okay. You just have to. You got to pick up the phone. So many people are afraid of the phone now. Look, whatever it takes to get you on the phone, I would do. And a lot of people today like it better if you text them first to warm up the call, to set up the call. That's fine. But get on the phone. When we talk about connects, our rule is it's not a connect if it isn't a 2-minute conversation, or it's 6 return text messages that creates a conversation. That's what we consider a connect. But we want, with people that we know that are in our A+ database, that hot 100, you want to block 4 calls a year into your CRM for every A+ client. So the beauty of doing events is you've always got that fallback reason to call. You always call with intention, and you always have a reason. If you're not doing events, there's a million other ways to get a conversation started and the reason to call people. So use the Ford technique. And I use this a lot, the Ford technique. So everybody understands the Ford technique. It's family, occupation, recreation, and dreams. Okay. So you just take that technique and you just start asking people questions around those things, and be an interviewer. Being on the radio for as long as I was, I interviewed a lot of people, and it's a skill that you can develop over time, that you just become inquisitive. You need to take that approach when you're calling people and you're using the Ford technique. You've got to be inquisitive, because the person who asks all the questions controls the conversation. So just be inquisitive and use that Ford technique. It'll save you in every conversation. You can also, because you're mailing them so much, you're emailing them so much, because you got to remember at this point, they've gotten mail from you, they've gotten email from you, they're going to see you on social media. You just have to call and ask, hey, I sent this over. Did you get it? That's all you have to do. And then get into the questions about them. Okay. What did you think of our market report? This is a great way to do research too. Look, I really value your opinion. Our market report that we sent you out, do you find that valuable, or are there any tweaks I can make to it that it would make it a lot more interesting to you? People always want to give you their opinion. People always want you to value their opinion. So if you ask for it, they're going to feel really good about themselves. So ask about the things that you're sending them. I mean, it's a really simple way to get the conversation going. And then, asking about the invites and all that kind of stuff. So 4 touches right there, quarterly calls to your A+ database, that Hot 100. All right. If my mouse was working. For bonus points here, surprise gifting. Okay. Surprise gifting is great. This should be for your best clients. These are things like, hockey tickets, football tickets, Calgary Home and Garden Show tickets, that kind of stuff, movie passes. You come across something great, and you want to share it with somebody you just did a transaction with, just without them doing anything, you just surprise them with something. That's massive impact. Surprise gifting really, really works. If you can get this done a couple of times a year, it's really, really good. But this is a bonus point 1, is the surprise gifting. And I would do this for just your absolute best clients that have done tons of stuff with you, because it can get expensive. You can do this with small, inexpensive items, but it can get expensive over time. So home show tickets, movie passes, coffee cards, that sort of thing. Now, when we're talking about gifting, the rule when you're working a referral-based system like this is you always send a referral thank you gift, regardless of if that referral buys or sells with you. Okay. You want to reward the behavior, not the result. I actually have a segment in my database of people that have never used me to buy or sell a home, but have referred me to other people. And it's not a small chunk of my database, because I reward that behavior. I reward the referral behavior, even if that person has never bought or sold a home with me, even if the person they referred to me never buys or sells a home with me, I reward that behavior. So just because somebody has never bought or sold a home with you doesn't mean they aren't somebody that can give you a referral and generate business for you. When we're talking about people's databases, I actually had an agent on one of my mentorship calls say that they had deleted everybody out of their database that had bought a home with them already. I'm like, wow. Well, why would you do that? Like, well, they've already bought a home. They're not going to move again. I'm like, okay, but even if the likelihood of that is very small, everybody is going to move again. But you just missed an opportunity, a massive opportunity to ask those people to refer you to people that they know, right? So just because somebody may never buy a home again, or may never buy a home with you ever, or sell a home because they bought the house, they're going to die in before they ever met you, they can still give you a referral. So make sure you're rewarding the behavior, not results. And this one is I like this one a ton. This is something that we're really going to step up this year, is gamifying this whole thing. And that's through holding referral contests. People love contests. And if you can create FOMO, it can be a real powerful motivator. So not only are we going to do quarterly events, but we're also going to do quarterly contests. We're going to stagger them, so it's not going to happen exactly the same time. But we're going to do quarterly contests. But this is going to be exclusively open to only those that refer us in that quarter, to get people excited. So it's not just the, hey, thank you, here's some movie tickets, we appreciate the support over the years. It's the, hey, everybody that refers us in the next 90 days is going to be entered into a draw for X. The thing is, it has to be worth it. So that prize has to be a minimum of $1,000 value in order for it to be worth it. And that's probably riding the line of being too skinny. Probably should be $2,500, $3,000 per quarter. So it's not cheap, but you can actually get vendors to help you with this. I would also have a little thing in there that you would 5x their entries for anything over 1 referral. So if somebody gives you 2 referrals in a quarter, 5x their entries. Tell them you're going to 5x their entries. And then what you're going to do is you're going to relentlessly promote it on social, email, and mail in all of your stuff to create that buzz. But you want to create some FOMO here. You want to create that, holy cow, I don't want to miss out on this because it's so good. But only those people that refer you in that quarter get entered in that draw. Nobody else. You got to have rules around that. And then after the contest is over, you're going to celebrate the winner for 10 days after, and then you're going to launch your next referral contest. And that's how you're going to create that, I've got to get in on this. Okay. And it also, instead of you asking, it's not the, hey, do you know anybody that's going to look, do you know anybody looking to buy or sell a home? Right? Nobody ever wants to be asked that question. You should never ask it that way. That's not how we do it. This is a way to ask for a referral in a very passive, fun, gamified way that actually has value to the people that are going to give you the referral. Okay. So gamify it. It can create some excitement around it. So the goal, it's number 1 mind share. We talked about this at the beginning. So if you actually do this whole system perfectly, you will actually connect with with people 70 plus times a year. Now, if you hit 49, you win the year. Okay. Because just think about it, if they unsubscribe from your emails, that's 24 opportunities down the drain. So we've got to end up doing other things in order to reach that 49. If you do it right, you can hit 49 if they unsubscribe from your email, but if they're still on your email list, it'll be more than 70 times a year. So you tell me 70 touch points a year, would you forget somebody's name of who they are, what they do, and that they're good at their job? Okay. And that leads me to the big 3 questions. And these are the questions that every one of your clients had in their mind when they first met you. Everybody you meet that you're trying to get their listing or you're trying to secure them as a buyer, these are the 3 questions they have in the back of their mind. Always. Even if they don't know them, these are the 3 questions that you need to answer for them. Are you good at your job? Can I trust you? And will you take great care of me? If you're reaching out to people 70 times a year and continually adding value to their lives and giving 10 before you ever ask for 1, they're going to feel so well taken care of. They can't help but trust you, and you're going to show them how good you are at your job. This whole system answers those 3 questions consistently.
Yeah.
And people will forget you if you don't remind them. Again, like we said at the beginning, they have room in their brain for 2 of anything, and you want to occupy that number 1 mind share position. It's reach and frequency. How many people can you reach, and how frequent is your message? And you want to ride that line of almost being annoying, pull it back just a little bit from there. You must be omnipresent. They must see you everywhere. And if you lose touch for 2 weeks, you lose top of mind status. That's our whole system.
It's impressive. Yeah. Thank you for sharing that. I have a question for you is how big is your database? 2 parts. How big is your database?
Yep.
And your A pluses and your A's. And then how many referrals did you get last year from that in this system?
So our database of past clients is about 1,400 people deep.
Okay.
And again, there's attrition in every database, right?
Right.
So our goal is to be adding to our database every week. So we've got 1,400 people in our past client database. My personal A+ list, because every agent on our team has their own A+ list. My personal A+ list is 247 people that I'm consistently working. What's that? Sorry?
You got that number dialed in.
Yeah. So I've got 247 people on my A+ list, and those are the people that hear from me all the time. Once I make it through that A+ list, I move on to my A list. In that A list, I've got 730 people, I believe, is the number in my A list. So those are the numbers on my A pluses and my A's.
Yeah.
B's, I've got, our database has 10,000 people in it. So
yeah.
You can fill in the blanks with the B's and the C's.
Yeah. Everybody else.
Yeah, everybody else. And then we've got, last year we did 87% of our business out of our referral database. Okay. So out of that 1,400 people, 87% of our business came from that.
Wow.
We're in a city of 1.7 million and we're top 1% in that city. And we did, we do every year between 120 and 150 transactions. That's kind of our numbers. We're a really small team.
Yeah. Yeah.
We
So
don't do
about 100 deals.
American sized numbers here.
Listen, I don't think most of us do. I think those are like, yeah, most of us are just pretty good business operators. But I mean, that's a hundred, and I mean, you're probably getting a couple hundred referrals a year, because what percentage of them actually do business?
Well, referrals are actually really good. This
Yeah.
is the thing. You've got to, when you're building your business, let's talk about conversion rate. If online leads or a Google pay-per-click lead is still converting at 3 to 5%, referrals convert at 85%. That's our conversion rate on referrals. That's the difference. 85% conversion rate.
That's
so
pretty good.
How many dials do you need to make to somebody you already know versus how many dials do you need to make, to get a meeting with somebody you don't know?
Yeah.
So that's
how much of your budget is, I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
How much of your budget is spent on this and your time?
My marketing budget?
Yeah.
Yeah, we spend half of our marketing budget on this for sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then how much of your time, like, how do you execute this system?
There's the thing. This is 2 to 3 hours a day. This is your lead gen time. Like we don't dial for dollars. If there's agents on our team that want to work our online leads, we get those organically. We don't buy Google pay-per-click, and we don't spend a lot of money on Facebook ads or anything like that. We organically get leads coming to our website every single day. We've got 8,000 leads on our website right now that have never been converted. If somebody wants to work those, we do have a system for that, for people that want to be in our online lead flow if they don't have a big referral database yet. But the people that are working a referral database, this is 2 to 3 hours a day.
Yeah. And you don't have to give the number, but your profit margin on running something like this, a referral based business, like, would you share percentage?
Yeah, we're 20. I think last year we were just over 20% in a down year. Typical years we're between 20 and 30%. That's sort of our margin.
Yeah. And but by the way, most people don't like to share that stuff. So thank you for sharing that. I always want to know, is it worth it or not?
Yeah, for sure. This is, in my opinion, and I'm also a fan of, and we talked about this on my mentorship call. I do a mentorship call every Wednesday morning. And we talked about this morning, is it's, you've got to do this business in a way that feels right for you. There's a really high level realtor in our town that's been, he's been in the business for 30 some years. He door knocks every single day. I just found this out, but that's how he's done his whole business for like 30 some years. Every day he door knocks and he loves it. He's built his entire business on that. I don't like being bugged at home when I'm trying to have dinner. I can't stand it when somebody knocks on my door. I can't. So it's not authentic to me to go out and door knock and harass people because I don't like it. But this system is what feels right to me. This is what is authentic to me. This is what aligns with my principles and values. And you can do this business a million different ways. If you want to build a business by a relationship, I've just found that this system it's gold. It's dynamite. But it may not be for you. You might be a person that is more comfortable picking up the phone and making 100 dials to set 2 meetings. You might be. You've just got to
do the business. Yeah. And you don't have any of it. You got to build it up.
You got to build it up. But do what feels right to you. That's the one piece of advice I have. This just really resonated with me when I got my real estate license, because it's a world that I came from, and that was database marketing.
It's awesome. Does anybody have any questions?
Nothing? Anything? Jeannie?
Yeah,
Go ahead.
Thank you. A lot of my emails go to spam. I've called my friends. I've done test emails. It goes to my spam. So I just got MailChimp. Heard that was supposed to help with that. Originally, I've been tried batch emailing on Google. I tried Follow Up Boss batch emailing. MailChimp is just brand spanking new to me. I was just curious if you had any suggestions.
You may want to change the URL that your email is coming from and change your email address. Is it a Gmail address or is it a masked Gmail address?
Yeah, it comes from my company. I think it's a mass Gmail.
Yeah, so Gmail is probably flagged it as spam. You may need to get a hold of Gmail to figure that out. Look, a lot of mine goes to spam too. And it all depends on, like, there's an agent on my team that a high percentage of their stuff was going to spam, and we use masked Gmail. Gmail has flagged you more than likely. So you're going to have to get a hold of Gmail to solve that problem.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, no problem. Anybody else?
I have more questions.
Yeah, get it, man.
When you do a mail out, do you it's envelopes and stuffed things or postcards or a mix?
No, if it's going to people we know, it's all envelopes. Everything's enveloped. Yeah, no flyers. I don't want to get mixed up in the flyer runs. That stuff just goes straight in the recycling.
Yeah.
Whenever you got an envelope, people at least thumb through envelopes. They don't thumb through flyers, because the flyers, at least where we are, they come in the mail in kind of a batch, because one or two companies delivers all the flyers at one time. So they're all stuck together. People just kind of look at them, see there's no envelopes in them, and they chuck them. The flyers that get stuck in the middle never get read. Whereas people will thumb through envelopes. So again, it's about having your logo in front of them. That's all the envelope really is for.
I have one last question. I have two. I'm gonna cheat. And I'll give them to you in order. Will you give us a sample of your market report, and what's a common gift that you give somebody for them giving you a referral?
If you give me 30 seconds, I will show you. 30 seconds.
I love interactive webinars.
Okay, so can you hear me okay?
Yep.
All right, everybody that gives us a referral gets a branded Yeti mug.
Oh, baby, that's sweet.
And inside that mug comes a branded Starbucks card. I don't know if you can see the brand on there, but our logo is on the Starbucks card. So that's, and then the people that give us multiple referrals, we just try and do better gifting. I've actually got a referral gift sitting here for a multiple referral. This is a bottle of champagne with our logo on the box, that kind of stuff. So that's what our referral gifts look like. And they don't have to be huge. Like, people just love getting stuff. What's the $30 Yeti and a coffee card? It's $5, $35 for an average commission of $10,000.
Yeah.
So, Brian, go ahead. Ask a question.
Hey, Ken, thanks so much. Appreciate these. Appreciate the slide deck and the nuggets. Question about your events.
Yeah.
How have they, I know you're 15 plus years now doing this. How have they evolved over time in regards to maybe what you're doing? You probably didn't start off with, some massive thing at the rodeo or buying out theater. So just tell me the evolution, if you will, of those events over this time.
Honestly, man, I used to just invite people for impromptu drink nights. That's how it started. Get a back room at a pub that's central, and just offer to buy everybody a round of drinks. That's how they started. Really, was just that. And so it became kind of a thing. We were doing 1 to 2 events a year, and then we kind of ramped it up and we got in with a hockey team, with the junior hockey team in town, and got a section of a hockey game, and it just knew some people in the building there. It was a good idea at the time, and it just kind of evolved from there. I will say one thing is that I have an unbelievable events manager that helps me a lot. And she used to work for me in radio. I actually hired her right out of university about 23 years ago. And she still works for me part-time, and her and I just have a system now where it's just plug and play. It's just streamlined. We know each other so well that I just call her. I say, this is what we want to do. Here's who we're inviting. Can you set it up? She sets it up, and it's done. Yeah. So, but yeah, they definitely have evolved. The system has evolved, but really just keep it simple. We've always, we've always done drink nights. They work great. We still do them. They're awesome. They're a great place to start. For sure.
Thanks.
You bet. Any other questions?
Brian, Ryan, he runs some pretty high level events too.
Do
I'm going to have him on in May to talk
Nice.
about that. Yeah.
Cool. Very cool. All right.
Thanks
Well,
a
that's what
million,
I've
dude.
got for you.
Yeah.
Sorry, go ahead.
Thanks a million.
Yeah, man, this is great. I appreciate it. Thanks for letting me occupy your hour here and just talk your ears off. I appreciate that very much.
You said something about a mastermind or some kind of group that you have.
Yeah, we do a mentorship group every
Mentorship.
Wednesday morning, Mountain Time at 8 o'clock. We have a mentorship group, and I can send out an invite to you guys. Really, what we do is we just run through stuff like this. We go through different things every week. We have a topic that we train on. We talk about people's issues and where they're, what they're working on, and we solve people's problems. It's really more about production and how do we help you? How do we solve your problems that you're working with? What are your pain points with your clients and things like that? So it's called our Dynamite Agents Mentorship Group. And we, again, host that every Wednesday morning at 8, and everybody's invited to it. You can just hop on, and if you got something you want to share, or, there's a certain topic that you want us to train on, more than happy to put stuff together and come to the table with that. But it's typically working with buyers, working with sellers, running through things like this, and all kind of contracts, even at times. It's whatever anybody wants. So be more than happy to extend an invitation through Clay to this stuff for you guys.
Yeah, that's awesome. Thank you.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, bud.
Well, I appreciate it, my man.
Yep.
This has been great. And I want to thank everybody for coming on the call today. And we're going to make the slide deck available to you all. Clay will send it all out to you. Okay.
Thanks, man.
Awesome. I appreciate
Thanks,
it, guys.
everybody.
Thank you. All right.
See ya.
Take care.